Ike Live, brought to you exclusively by Abu Garcia.
Yeah.
They see me.
They see you.
They see me.
They see you. They
All
see
right,
us.
You can do all your intros.
Okay. All right. How's everybody doing? I hope you're having a wonderful evening. It is Memorial Day. It's Monday. I hope you're having a good one. I hope you had a great weekend. We got a brand new Ike Live from the bar for you tonight. And we also have a very special guest, our friend Frank, joining us. I'm going to let him introduce himself in a second. Want to remind you, while you're watching, while you're listening, if you have comments, man, if you've got something that you want to talk about, if you want to chime in on something you're hearing, please let us know. Hit us up. There's an IM system wherever you're watching. We're going to be checking them throughout the show, so let us know. Also, thank you to all the positive comments about this bar format of the Ike Live show. Before we get into anything, before we get the show rolling, it is Memorial Day. So I did want to start by saying thank you to our military, men and women serving. Thank you very much. To everyone that served and sacrificed, thank you. This is an amazing country, and we really, really appreciate that. So I wanted to make sure we started with recognizing Memorial Day. But I want to get to our guest. This is the first guest we've had on Ike Live at the bar. It's normally just Becky and I.
I don't know what to do with ourselves.
I'm kind of, but Frank, you want to introduce yourself?
Yes,
Who you are?
Look, I am privileged to be here. I mean, this is just awesome. I think that, being down here and being the first guest, in the bar.
First official guest is a big deal.
This is awesome. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Let's do this.
Yeah.
So who am I? Frank Price. Neck of the Woods Brewing. All right.
I like your title. Head Brewer.
Yes. I am
Master Head Brewer.
Head Brewer.
Master Head Brewer?
Master Head.
I wouldn't go there. But co-owner. I have partners, Dave and Paul.
Yes.
And then I am the director of brewery operations. Anything beer related
Yes.
is me.
That's awesome.
And just love spreading the word, love creating things for people.
Yep.
Getting to see the smiles or sometimes the grins or you like it, not like it, but just creating something. And that's what I love doing.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
I mean, in my real job, I take care of people, giving them anesthesia. So during the day,
such an interesting.
I give people a little
You know people during the day and at night.
And at night.
Yes. You know them all around.
So yes, it's fun. It's a great job. Love doing it.
Yeah.
That's how we met.
We're going to talk.
You gotta tell the story.
We're going to talk more about that in a second. But Frank, thank you for coming. And
Absolutely.
This is a big part of our Ike Live at the bar. And, Becky and I, every time we join you here, we are drinking with you and we are toasting with you. And I'm drinking a beer. And tonight we're going to be sharing a very special beer with you guys. You may have seen it through some of the social media posts or whatnot, but tonight's beer, and by the way, stay in the car, Frank. I think you saw that about 4 shows ago. But tonight's beer is, there it goes, guys. Stay in the boat. Ike, officially drinking it tonight with you. And it's so excited. So cheers. Cheers, Beck. Where's your beer? I don't know where Beck's beer is. Cheers.
Beer.
And cheers to you guys, wherever you're at, wherever you're drinking, wherever you're watching. Very, very excited about this beer. Not just from the standpoint of the taste. It's amazing, and we're going to talk about that in a second. But, dude, part of the proceeds from this beer go to the Ike Foundation, getting more kids fishing. It's a great, amazing can, amazing artwork. And if you look on the back, there's a little scannable barcode there where you can get information on the
We call that the
foundation.
QR
QR code. See, I don't even know. I still have
barcode.
well, I still have a bag phone, so I don't even know what that thing is. But dude, it's so exciting. So I want to start off by this. My two of my passions, not my only two, but two of my passions in life are fishing, getting kids fishing and fishing itself, and drinking beer. I love beer. I'm a beer guy. So thank you for the opportunity to be able to really combine those two things, right? Combine the love of beer with fishing and raising money for our foundation, dude. I can't
Hell
thank you
yeah.
enough for that, dude.
Absolutely.
Very, very,
Yes.
very important. And it feels like a dream because honestly, a lot of things in my career, I look back on and like, I just can't even believe some of this stuff has happened. And like, this is one of them. Like, I'm a 52-year-old guy that loves beer, and I got to help create a beer, and that's amazing. So, and to do it with a local brewery, to do it with someone that's a friend and a neighbor, going to kids fishing, dude, that's important. So thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Thank you.
And thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Because this is our relationship is kind of like multi-level, and it kind of goes back in time.
It does.
A little bit.
Should we get into this?
Yeah, let's go back in time.
All right, guys, here it
All right.
goes. All right, and I'm seeing a lot of comments. I see Frank says drinking it right now. Frank Walder drinking it right now. Thank you, Frank. Joe can't wait to get his hands on some. Keith Thomas, our good friend Keith, says nice. And Keith, we're going to get you some of that for sure. So a lot of people, a lot of beer heads chiming in already. But here's the interesting.
I am drinking it, Ben.
Yeah, Beck's drinking it too. She's in the back drinking it. But relationships, when you meet somebody, it's not always a very typical, meeting starting point, right? So, people meet at tournaments, people meet at school, people meet at bars. But we had our first encounter was a little different. So this is a pretty good story.
But see, we can even rewind just a
Let's
little
keep
bit further.
going. Yeah.
Okay. So we both live on the same lake.
We do.
Okay. And we both share the passion for bass fishing.
We do.
And obviously your passion started a lot earlier than mine. And as I was getting started, went out and bought this little John boat.
Yeah.
Put it on our lake.
Yeah.
And my first inaugural, moment out on the lake just didn't go too well. Trolling motor was acting up. I couldn't, get it clicked in to where it needed to be. So I had to pull out my oar and get back to the dock.
That sounds like every trip that I'm on with my boat.
Yeah,
So,
it didn't work out well. And I was a little embarrassed because now I was there by myself. Luckily, didn't have the kids or the wife or anybody there, but I paddle into the dock. And as I'm trying to figure it out, behind me, I hear this like a big truck coming down. I see this big boat coming in. It's this guy right here.
Oh,
We didn't know each other.
Yeah.
But immediately he saw that I was in need a little bit of help. Asked me, hey, do you need any help? And I wanted to say yes.
Yeah.
But I'm a guy. I'm like, no, I'm fine.
I got
Everything's
it.
good here.
No.
He's like, well, it looks like you need a beer. And you threw me a beer.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes.
That's
so,
awesome.
So from that day forward, I had to figure out, who is this guy? Because people had talked, there's a bass fisherman who lives, a professional bass fisherman
Yeah.
on our lake.
Yeah.
So, I went online, and I don't know if online existed back then. But,
Yeah.
but there was a show, City Limits, and I
City Limits Fishing.
started watching that.
Anybody watching, if you loved City Limits Fishing, show me a comment.
Dude, that was the best because I'm a Philadelphia guy.
Yeah.
So you were doing all
You
Philadelphia
did a
stuff
lot
too.
of Philadelphia shows.
Yeah, and I felt connected there, and I was just like, I got to figure out who this guy is.
Yeah.
So Mike Iconelli, he was up here in my book already. So here I am out on the lake, and I've seen you a couple times out on the lake. You signed an autograph for the kids and everything. You're just a great guy. But I think maybe 12 or 13 years went by, and I'm thinking to myself, this this guy's got to be close to 50 now. Close to 50, you got to get a colonoscopy.
Yeah, if you're watching and you're close to 50 and you're a male or you're 50, you know that's colonoscopy time.
I think it's 45 now.
That they did.
Yeah, 45, you get to poop in a box.
Yes.
Yes.
You can poop it in the box.
Yeah,
you
poop
set
in
it
the
off,
box.
and they test it genetically to see
Yeah.
if there's any bleeding.
You're right.
If there is, you come in for
But
a
I didn't
colonoscopy.
poop in the box.
You see me,
Right.
and I'm the guy who's interviewing Ike and now
Yeah.
from the anesthesia side of things.
Right.
And I'm thinking to myself, I've been waiting 15 years, or whatever it was, to anesthetize this guy. To get the secrets out of him. And how to catch big fish. Here's my chance. Here's my opportunity.
Is there a special formula to like a truth serum?
Oh,
You know what I mean?
yes.
Wow.
I tell people all the time what happens back in the OR stays in the OR.
Yeah, but
Except
it
for
doesn't.
blabbermouth
It
here.
doesn't. It doesn't. You know?
No, it doesn't. It shows up on Ike Live.
Yeah.
Good for what I love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but it was funny. It was the interview process of my questions I have to ask go down the line. And one of those is, do you drink? Do you do drugs? All that kind of stuff.
Right.
You just happened to mention that you drink craft beer.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, well, what kind of beer do you drink?
Yeah.
Honey, what do I drink? That Stay in the Car, Frank? No lie. I look at him and I say, well, I'm Frank.
I am the Frank.
And well,
From
he
the
looked at me
can.
at first and he was just like, well, yeah, you just said that 2 minutes ago. Your name's Frank.
Yeah.
No, Frank.
No, I'm the
Stay in the
actual
car,
Frank.
Frank.
I'm the Frank on the
Yes.
can. Yeah.
So all of a sudden, it was, Mike Iconelli just saw a star. And his eyes lit up and he's like, holy shit.
That's so good.
It was so much fun. And
It was
at that
lovely.
point, we had just talked about, I think it was pre-anesthesia, we talked about doing a collaboration.
Yeah.
We should make a beer together.
Yeah.
And that's where it all came
It's
from.
such a cool opportunity. And here's the thing too. If you're not a fan of Neck of the Woods Brewing, check them out. They've got the website, they've got social, and we'll go over all that at the end. But you've done a lot of cool collaborations with other celebrities, athletes in Philadelphia.
Yes.
Jaws John.
Yeah, Ron Jaworski.
Ron
We
Jaworski,
teamed
yeah.
up with Ron.
If you're watching this and you're a true Eagles fan, you know Jaws.
So
Yes.
that's all I gotta say about
Oh yeah, we did
Yeah.
Jaws. M. Night Shyamalan. He's
Yes.
a Philly guy.
Philly guy. Yeah.
We made a beer for him. We've connected with different organizations to help out. My buddy Pepe Dragata runs the Heroes Foundation. We
Yeah.
help those guys out. So yeah, I mean, we like connecting with people because if I can connect with you,
Yeah.
I connect with your people here.
Yep.
We spread the word.
Yeah.
You connect with my people. We
Yeah.
spread the word about your foundation,
Yeah.
and that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
I mean, look, the beer is the liquid that
Dude.
kind of brings everybody together.
Yeah. And here's the thing, guys. You look at this and you're like, yeah, the can's beautiful. And yes, part of the proceeds are going to a good cause. But is the beer any good? Is it really, really good? And that's where it comes into the part where Becky and I from day one, and you remember this, we're like, look, we don't want to do another Stay in the Car Frank. Stay in the Car Frank's awesome. We don't want to do that. We don't want to do a light beer. There's a lot of light beers out. So we wanted to do something different. I remember the conversations let's stand out. And I thought you guys did a marvelous job
Marvelous.
of capturing like the spirit of Stay in the Car Frank, but it's not Stay in the Car Frank. So I'm curious. I want you to tell them, but I want to know, how did you do it? Like, I know it's all ingredients based, but talk about that. Talk about how you came up with this.
And every one of our beers, I put the ingredients right here.
Right there on the front of
So
the
if
can.
you're a home brewer, the
Look at
ingredients
this.
are right here.
Right there.
I mean, that's it right there.
Okay.
But yes, how to make something associate with Stay in the Car Frank,
Right.
but yet define itself as something a little bit different.
Yeah.
And that was the challenge. But we wanted to keep it reminisce of Stay in the Car Frank. So we use Citra, Mosaic, and Eldorado. Those are the hops that are in Stay in the Car Frank.
Yeah.
Citrusy, tropical fruity.
Yeah.
And then I gave you a list of 5 different hops to look at and say, all right, I think these hops would define this beer in a different direction, but bridge the kind of
Make it unique.
association.
Make it unique, but it still has a connection. to
Correct.
Santa Carta.
Yeah. So we went with Eclipse,
Eclipse,
which was the Australian style of hop.
Yeah.
And I think it just adds different levels or different undertones of this tropical fruitiness, and limiting the bitterness on it as well to make it more of a highly drinkable beer. Because let's face it, if you're out on the boat, or you're out by the pool, you don't want to just drink one. You want to drink multiple ones.
drinkable beer.
So we kept it at 6%. I think that's a responsible, ABV. We kept it in check. IBU level of 45, which a standard American style IPA has, but also made it just drinkable from the standpoint that it's not going to be like too overwhelming or too heavy in your mouth. That it's just going to be light. It's going to be dry. And it's just going to be thirst quenching.
And it is all of those.
All right, so I'm not an IPA drinker.
All right.
Everyone. So,
Well, here's the proof right here.
So I have to be honest. It's because I don't like that like big hop, like that. I don't. It's that afterbite that I don't like. It doesn't have that. It has like a hint of that, but not like it's not overwhelming. It's way more citrusy. It's just much. I think it's way more drinkable than a regular IPA to me, because you get big IPAs. I don't really like this. This I can totally drink.
More drinkable.
More drinkable. Most drinkable.
And she got the first can off the canning line.
Did.
More drinkable. That's a good segue point, and I do want to mention this. A lot of times when we're on these podcasts and we look at the chats, we get a lot, that, man, you've got the dream job. You get to fish, and you get to fish all the time. It's a dream job. Frank, you have the dream job. Dude, I really realized that, I say that because I'm a fan of beer, but Becky and I got an amazing opportunity to watch these things, come out of the vat, getting canned, getting the label, the whole process. We get to drink the first ones. And when you're watching that process, I'm like, Frank's got the best job in the world, like that, bro.
Okay, but here's why Frank is a genius. So those of you that live in the South Jersey area know Total Turf, and it's where we all spend our lives if we have kids in sports, because they have like
every weekend
turf fields and indoor turf fields
basketball,
volleyball, like you name it, you're there.
There was a dodgeball tournament there too.
Dodgeball. So anyways, you're stuck at Total Turf.
And we're going to be there for the next 7 years of our lives, for sure, until Stella gets out.
So Frank's Brewery is in Total Turf.
It's very smart.
So for all those parents that need to pass the time, because Total Turf never thought to give like a track or something like to the adults to like entertain themselves, you just drink beer. And it's brilliant. So the rest of you and the rest of the country, I'm so sorry that you don't have
sorry about that. But it was a cool experience to see it. But I was really blown away by the process, because we had been in breweries before, we did tours, but dude, there's a science to brewing, and not just like creating the beer, but how it sits, how it comes out, how it's canned, how like everything. There's a science to it. That's cool. Tell me that's cool. Is that cool? Because in my mind, that's super cool.
So it's super cool. And when my wife gave me that first beer making kit.
You got the one for Christmas?
Yes. Mr.
She
Beer
gave it
or
to me.
something
I don't think
like
I ever
that.
opened it.
He's had a wine.
Let's go get it right now.
Let's go get it. We're going to get
Whiskey
it.
making, like you've had every kit. It's just it's
time is a problem for me.
But when you make it that first time and just like the first time you're going out there fishing, maybe you're using this lure and it's just not working.
Right.
You don't just take the lure and throw it away. You figure out how to work the lure. So maybe it's temperature, maybe it's the time of the day, maybe it's the overcast skies, whatever it is.
Right.
Same thing with brewing. Like, the first batch didn't turn out right. All right. What was my temperature?
What can I change?
What was my pH?
Right.
What was my volume of carbonation?
Very scientific.
Very scientific.
Yes.
And every step of the way. When I say every step of the way, it's like every day multiple times a day. Sometimes we're testing to make sure that it's on track.
Right.
You know, for this beer, I think I was up there 3 times a day making sure that this beer came out perfect.
Yeah.
I think it's it.
That's awesome. It reminds me a lot. If you guys followed last week with me, I was up in Spirit Lake, Iowa at Pure Fishing, and we were doing a lot of product development, you know, creating some new baits, working on new colors, testing out actions, allures. And it reminds me a lot of that, a lot of similarities. And, you know, you keep trying, you fail, you try something else, you keep tweaking it, and then all of a sudden you create this lure that's never been there before, and it's got this movement, and you're like, that's it, you know, and you get it. So there's a lot of similarities there.
It is.
Yeah.
It's constant tweaking.
Yeah.
You know, and if you're not doing that, then you're stagnant.
Yeah.
You know, and we know what stagnation causes. It's not fun.
Right.
It's not enjoyable. You know, people lose interest.
They do.
You know, so you're constantly like reinventing things but at the same time sticking with what works too.
Right.
You know, we know stay in the car Frank works. So that's why we wanted to make this beer, you know, part of the stay in the car Frank family.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and I think that we knocked it out of the park, or I should say, Olivia.
Look at that.
Olivia Smith.
Yeah. So part of this process, guys, is the design of the art. And so from the name, you know, creating something that made sense. So when Stay in the Car Frank came up and we were like, oh, what would be a good name? Everybody remembers me falling out of the boat a lot. If you saw some of the social media posts, the name was cool, but look at the art. I mean, that's amazing. So shout out to Olivia, and this is amazing artwork. And it really, I think, does look like me and Frank right there.
Yeah.
So that's Frank right there.
Because Frank is always driving the car.
Yep.
You know,
That's Frank.
I gotta stay in the car,
And-
so here I'm staying in the
Yeah,
boat.
and
too.
that is me right there. And very ugly, scraggly bearded guy. That's me. So an ugly guy on a can is perfect.
And
you know?
I got to really understand and meet Becky on a different level, because she and I went back and forth.
A lot.
I know.
It seemed like every day.
Oh yeah. Yeah. This was a harder process than starting Neck of the Woods Brewing.
Yes.
Totally. This is a harder
All right,
process.
so not a lot of people have to deal with me on this level to know how
Perfectionist.
I love
there is a
perfection.
need for perfection
Yes.
in this household,
Perfection
in
in the
our
beer,
office.
in the beer itself, in the can.
And by the end, I was like, Frank's probably gonna not make this beer.
Yeah, we're gonna-
because we can't even get through the
Yeah.
label. I'm like, I need you to tweak this. Can you add this? There needs to be this.
Yeah.
You need to do
Frank's
this.
second
Can you
choice
put this
was
slogan. Can you do that? Like, oh, poor Frank.
Yeah, but
Poor
no,
Frank.
let's give a shout out to Olivia. Poor Olivia.
Yeah,
Yeah, poor Olivia.
Olivia.
Yeah, thank you, Olivia.
All right, because I was just giving the message.
I'm so sorry, Olivia,
Change
but
this,
it turned out beautiful.
Yeah.
so Frank's second choice. If this didn't work out and Becky was too much of a pain in the ass, his second choice was Kevin Van Dam. And it would have been Stay in the Car KVD.
Yes.
I mean, Stay in the Boat KVD.
Stay
It
in
would
the
have been.
community.
Stay in the Community KVD was option B. But I'm glad this worked out, and it's an amazing beer.
All right, so listen. One, we have to talk about where you can get this beer.
We do.
Two, we have super exciting news, because anyone that lives anywhere near South Jersey,
Tri-state area.
and you can
Yeah.
Tri-State area,
Pennsylvania,
you
Maryland,
can
Delaware,
make
New
it
York.
to Neck of the Woods. You guys are technically Pittman, right?
Yeah, Pittman, Mantua.
Mantua. Anyways, look it up. Neck of the Woods Brewing. Make sure you look up Neck of the Woods Brewing, not just Neck of the Woods, because it's a really death metal band. out of
Yes,
Canada.
music. In
I did
Canada. Is it
accidentally
Canadian?
put in
Which
there.
we did collaborate with.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But Neck of the Woods Brewing. So if you guys can make it next Sunday, June 2nd, they're open from 12 to 6, but we're going to be there from 1 to 4. We're going to have some music. We've got some cool decals. We're all going to be hanging out. So come drink some beer with us.
Yeah.
If you cannot attend that, how can they get the beer?
Yeah. How can they get it?
So we are going to supply our best stores that we have, best relationships with in relationship to maybe out-of-staters. So if you're coming over to Delaware Memorial Bridge, we'll have the store there. Over Commodore Barry Bridge, we'll have the store there. If you're coming over any of the Philly bridges, you come right to the brewery. Okay. If you're from Salem County, we'll also have that, available in our neck of the woods. Already it's flying off the shelves.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, people will be loving it.
That's great. Yeah. So Sunday, June 2nd, 1 to 4. Even though this beer is technically out, this is our beer release party. Come on out. Would love to talk to you. Would love to hang with you. Would love to grab a beer with you. And here's the good news: a lot of other good beers on tap. So come out, have some great beer. We're gonna have some music. It's gonna be a good day.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a good day. Yeah, it's gonna be super fun.
We do have a couple reviews that came in already.
Really?
For the beer.
Oh,
somebody said the bad ones first or the good ones first.
Sorry, there were no bad.
No bad reviews.
Not yet. Okay.
This is amazing.
Hazy and floaty. Somebody said.
Oh, is floaty a word?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
All right. Hazy and floaty.
A dry beer for a wet boat.
Oh, there you go.
Yum. I hope this gets on draft.
Oh.
Because we didn't have it on draft because we were waiting for the party.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. I bought a 4-pack at the brewery. Really good. Can't wait to try it on draft.
Yes.
And it has a pithy bitterness.
Pithy. Oh.
Yeah.
Pithy.
Little fancy from Gayton.
Wow.
I want to be friends with these people with their.
If somebody's watching and they could Google search pithy, I would like to know exactly what that word is.
Was that on the SATs?
Was it pithy on the
Pithy?
SATs? I don't know. This did bring up I'm glad you read those reviews because I thought of something. A lot of people mentioning draft. And I want to know this, and I want to know this from you. Is the correct way to drink a beer or drink stay in the boat, Ike? Is it to drink directly from the can, or is it better to drink from a glass? To pour the can in a glass, or does it matter, or does it not matter?
There's a science to it.
There's science.
There is a science to it.
Okay.
Yeah. So do we have a cold beer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do have a cold beer.
We're gonna do a little test here. So always take your glass and give it a good rinse before you put anything in there. This, gets any of the soap residue, maybe from your dishwasher if you're putting it in there or anything.
Yeah.
But when you open up this beer, don't get fancy with it like this.
Just pour that John in there.
Stop. Are you
want to
serious?
pour it in.
You want the head.
You want this head.
Listen to this, guys. Listen to this. This is
want
the moment of the
head.
show that means something. Look at this.
Head.
I never did it that way. I did it the other way.
I really
No.
thought you were supposed to.
So
I'm wrong. I was wrong the whole
you're
time.
wrong the
I
whole
look like an
time.
asshole for all those years. I look like an asshole. Damn it!
That's not the only reason.
Damn it!
Yes. Because what this is doing, all these hop oils, all these hops that we put in here, the Citra, the Eldorado, Mosaic, the Eclipse, they're all oils.
Right.
And in order to get the full flavor, you got to get those oils out of the beer. How do you get the oils out of the beer? Because they're stuck to those little carbonation, those tiny CO2 bubbles.
Yeah.
The only way to get them out is to make a mess.
To make a mess.
Let's smell
Wow.
that, brother. I mean,
Can you please tell everyone that
Wow.
you shouldn't touch like the oils on your face too and stick your fingers in?
yeah, don't do that either.
Please don't do that.
Yes, yes.
That is so gross. I see
Yeah,
people
that
do
is
it in bars.
anti-head. But yes, you're.
That's amazing. Honestly, I learned something. This is amazing because the whole time I've been the guy like tilting the glass and doing it real gentle. But you want to mix everything. You want to get everything mixed up. You want to activate all that stuff.
100%. So when we're at the brewery and we're pouring it, we're opening up the faucet after we rinse the glass.
Yeah.
You're opening it up and that beer is hitting the glass, and already the nucleation of the carbon dioxide
another good word
are all coming out. And with that, it's just bringing all those flavors, that pithiness is just coming out.
Right.
Did anyone actually know that? Did anyone know that?
Yeah.
Don't lie.
Let's see. Do we have anybody on here that actually knew that? Like, I thought I was a true beer head,
No,
and I didn't know that.
I mean, look where it's at now. Now you can finish it off. I mean, look.
Right, you can finish it off slower. Right,
I
but
mean,
you want that.
patience.
Yeah, you want that mixing.
Yes.
Wow.
I mean, and look at that head.
I'm embarrassed. I never knew that. This is terrible. I'm very embarrassed. I never knew that. That's crazy.
Well, no one else did either.
No one else knew.
Not a soul
No one's
said.
admitting to this that
Yeah.
they didn't know. They didn't know.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
All right,
Wow.
Well,
Okay. Well, now we know, Beck.
now we know.
Come
All
to the
those
Ike
years.
show and you learn something.
Yeah, you learned something really, really important. All right, let's see. I did. Someone did know.
Oh, you lie.
All right. Digs Outdoors had no idea. Patrick, you've been an idiot like I have. I've been, I thought that was the way to do it. You know, it's like anti-head, right? You don't want head, you want to pour it perfect, but makes a lot of sense.
So that's why when you go to a brewery or you go to a bar,
Right.
it always tastes better coming from draft
Right.
because you're allowing all those
Yeah, they're letting
oils
it
the
fly and
hops
it's,
to come out.
Wow.
Yeah. Whereas, if you just are gentle about it,
Yeah.
it's just
Yeah.
you're not getting that full experience.
Yeah. I want to throw you under the bus, Beck. You should have knew that. You worked in the alcohol industry.
I didn't sell beer.
Oh, well, you should have knew that anyway. We got Jeffrey Young. Is there anywhere in Maryland that will have it? I'm assuming the answer to that is no. But if you come from Maryland over to New Jersey and you cross one of the bridges,
Yeah,
We'll
Delaware
have
Bridge
it.
would be, the closest in Pennsville.
yep, Pennsville,
We
New
have a
Jersey,
supplier there.
cross the Delaware Memorial Bridge, come to Pennsville, and you'll
Yeah.
be able to get the
Yeah,
beer.
literally like 6 minutes off the bridge.
Yeah. And here's the other thing, guys. Listen, if we absolutely blow the lid off of this.
Jeffrey, if you fish the Pro-Am, I'll bring you a 4-pack.
Ooh.
Yeah, all right, Jeffrey,
All right,
fish
or
the
maybe just a
pro.
beer because I might drink it.
All right, maybe not, but she'll bring you 1.5 if you fish pro. But if we can blow the doors off of this, if you guys love this, and we sell this like it's the next best thing since peanut butter and jelly, maybe, who knows? Like maybe it'll go national one day. Maybe we'll start a new venture and it'll be available everywhere. Hong Kong, Taiwan, Australia because of the eclipse. Who knows?
Somehow now we're starting a distributor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we should talk about that.
Yeah, let's talk about
I
it.
like where you're going.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
leaving the fishing industry because we're tired of all the
We're tired of the drama.
So now we're going to start a distributor and we're going to distribute.
Yeah. Tired of the drama. This is a great segue point real quick. We got 500 people watching or so. If you're watching this right now and you're a fan of competitive professional fishing, and Frank, I would love to get your opinion on this. You saw a lot of drama going on over the weekend, over the past week at the MLF heavy hitters. Okay. MLF heavy hitters. And I'll try to give you, for those of you watching and listening that don't know what happened, I'll give you a quick summary of what went down. Henry said Ike Weiser. That could be the name for the company. So MLF heavy hitters tournament down on Lake Toho. And really a kind of maybe a more gentle way to put it is you had a couple guys doing really well in the tournament, guys leading their rounds. If you know MLF, they go by different rounds, Group A, Group B, till you get to the semis. And you saw those leaders really taking to social media saying, man, I hope those poachers are going to move in on me. They're being, am I saying this right? Basically, a lot of the guys taking the social media to say, this is my area. These are my fish. I don't want anybody encroaching on me. And then as the tournament progressed, you saw these other anglers all of a sudden taking to social media and saying, wait a minute, I found those fish too. I'm not poaching you because I found these fish myself. Okay. We'll throw names out. It's okay because everybody knows what's going on. So you had Jordan Lee was pissed off. Brandon Coulter's pissed off. They're the guys doing really well. But then you had these other guys who were saying, look, I found these fish too, and I'm getting trashed here on social media for no reason. I'm not moving in on somebody's fish. I found these fish, a.k.a. Dakota Ebear, and
Ryan Salzman.
So I would love to know your guys' thoughts on this. And so here's my initial take, and then I want to hear your comments. I already see some coming through. The first comment on this is people finding the same fish, people moving in on people is nothing new in bass fishing. It's been there in our sport since day one, which is the early 70s, as old as I am. So that's nothing new. Okay. There's always been disagreements and arguments and whose fish are these, and there's always been that, right? So that's not new. To me, what's new about this scenario is people taking to this to both throw people under the bus and to also defend themselves through a device. Okay. So nothing new there, guys, to me, except that they're doing it instead of doing it on the water, instead of handling it on the water, instead of handling it at the tournament, right? Or calling the guy on the phone or meeting him, they're doing it through social media. So, and I would love, Frank, I want to hear your opinion.
Well, I think there's two major pieces
Okay.
to this.
All right.
One, you touched on the one.
Okay.
Like, why aren't we just talking face to face? Why do we do this on social media? So I think there's also two parts to that. Like, one, I don't think that, like, we've become a society where it's easier to just put it out there, and we want everyone to know that, oh, this is my side, and you're almost trying to, like, get your story out first, because if you're first, then obviously you must be the one who's being truthful and right, like trying to beat the other person to it, which is part of it. Two, like, no one just talks face to face. Like, no one just punches each other in the face anymore. And maybe sometimes we just should. You know
Frank, you're from Philly. You remember the good old days where you got in a fight with somebody. Yes. You just punch somebody in the face. You got it out. Whatever. You got your disagreement, and nobody's suing anybody. And it's not a cancel culture. And you figure your problems out and you go your separate way. Dude, it's not like that anymore. It's not like that anymore at all.
So it's like we have to have teams. Now it's like social media is like, oh, I gotta have my own team. Then the other part that I'm gonna say to this is the fact that, like, this is such a flaw with the way that the MLF tournaments run.
Yes.
So
yes.
And
make sure you talk about
this is
that.
not
Make sure
like
you explain that.
And this isn't like an attack on MLF. I'm just saying it's just a flaw.
It's
in
a
the
flaw
way the
in their
system is.
format. Yes.
So here's the problem.
Yes,
so
is.
you have half of your field fishes day one on this whole lake, and then those guys go away, and they're not supposed to look and watch number two. And number two wasn't supposed to watch you, even though it's all live.
Right.
Same body of water, same everything. Well, listen.
Yeah.
There's people who might still have integrity and maybe honest, and maybe somebody says something, but there's always like doubt in people's minds. There's always, you know what I mean? Like, if you're not hauling these people up in a room and playing in like daycare with them all day, so they're not watching, then you can't like know for a fact that they didn't watch. But at the same time, you can't accuse people of having watched or another family member watching and telling them.
Right.
Or, you know what I mean? There's too many flaws.
There's a lot of flaws. And I did see the comment come in from Eric. Eric commented that with MLF Live Score Tracker, it's too easy for guys to see who's doing good and can move in. And the day off, they can watch live. And so, Eric, that's true. And again, to your point, it may be a flawed system, but let me remind everybody, including you, Miss Rebecca, that MLF has polygraph system in place. Okay, they have a polygraph system in place, so that if Jordan thought that the dude was moving in on him wrongfully, and he thought it was because the dude watched the day before, Jordan could file a protest. And that guy would be polygraphed. And if the guy failed the polygraph, then there would be consequences to it. So there is a measure in place. Now, whether or not their polygraph system is accurate, it's probably not. But
I don't know that.
But this goes back to the social media, like creating a team. So if you were day one and you saw someone get, found out someone was on your spot day two, like your mind will wander and be like, oh, that MFer saw me. That's why he was there. Well, maybe he did just find the fish.
Right.
But now there's doubt. You've created doubt.
There's doubt, right.
And now our whole social media community is going to jump on whichever bandwagon they feel most associated with. So it becomes like
it's a weird world right now. Do you agree with that? I mean, do you see that in like do you see that in the brewing world? Like this you know what I mean? This bickering of,
bickering in the brewing world?
No, so most breweries kind of collaborate together.
Yeah.
And if we make great IPAs and Bonesaw makes great lagers.
Yeah. And in New Jersey, you guys are bound more together because of all the bullshit politics and everything.
We have great relationships. But there's people out there on social media on the untapped tap system, that will just blast you.
Right.
I'm curious. These guys, are they younger guys or are they?
They're all younger guys.
Yeah.
They're all younger guys. Well, Jordan's
Coulter's not.
Coulter's probably 50, but Jordan's in his 30s.
Yeah.
Salzman and Dakota are probably in their late 20s, early 30s, right? They're young guys.
It's a different generation. They.
But I did notice. I don't think Coulter actually took to social media and made a post.
Okay. So Coulter did it the old school way. He was just chasing people around and face to face. I think that's a better way. I think that's a better way.
Just go yell at people.
Yeah. Hey, in your town, ready for Saturday from Scott. Okay, Scott, I guess that means you're fishing the Pro-Am. Can't wait to see you.
Oh, that is Scott Van Leer. Yeah.
Yo, Scott. Yeah. Rick Clem, sorry, Rick, if I butchered your last names. His comment was, Ike got yelled at by Kevin Van Dam in the water. He had no problem telling you how he felt at the time. Rick, that's a great example, okay? And so for everybody watching, you can actually Google this one. YouTube machine brings up everything. But yeah, I moved in on a spot that Kevin was fishing. He didn't like it, so he came and told me that he wanted, he in his own way told me he didn't like what was going on, and
Did he call you a boy?
Well, he did.
He wasn't part of the community.
Yeah, so
it's like a running joke now.
He did it really aggressively. But I'm always an advocate of, I first want to be nice. If somebody's encroaching, if you feel like you're being wronged, first thing to do is, hey man, I've been here. Do you mind? Is it okay if I have this? He didn't do that when I had the incident. He just ran me off. But in saying that, look, that's how he felt. I had to make a decision. Either I stayed or left. I left because he was doing better in the tournament. So I left. I seated the spot to him. That's how it should go down. I don't think it should go down through that thing. I think that's the wrong way to do it, but that's my opinion. Remember, Ike Live Show is all about opinion, guys. So we want to hear your opinion. We have our opinion. It's not always the right opinion.
Has this ever come up in your Pro-Am? Like, has anybody?
We have had very little, I would say, problems in the Pro-Am, and I think a lot of it is because it's all for a good cause. People are paying the entry fee. They know it's going to kids fishing, and I think because of that, we haven't had a lot of the same exact problems. These tournaments, you got to remember, 100,000, 150,000, sometimes championship event, 200 grand.
Plus sponsors.
Plus sponsors. Money makes people crazy.
Sure.
It really does. At every level, money makes people crazy. Let's see here. Brian Reed is going to be down at the Pro-Am on Saturday. Brian, we'll see you there. Thanks for fishing with us. Sean's comment was, it was fun watching Jordan and Brandon claim the mats, which I understand completely after Jay Lee explained how a school was basically in a small hole under the mat. That's a good point, Sean. And again, but here's the thing, Sean, let me remind you, Jordan might have found that. 10 dudes might have found that, right? So, it's a matter of, how do you claim if it's an area the size of a car, you can claim it. If it's an area the size of 2 or 3 football fields, which this is what I understand the mat was
You can't claim that, bro. I don't care if you're Jordan Lee or Kevin Van Dam. You ain't claiming 3 football fields, bro. Trust me.
Well, here's the other thing. But so he claimed it on day 1 or whatever day he fished.
Yeah, after he fished. Yeah.
But you can't claim it to the guys that are fishing
You
the next day.
can't claim it to the other group.
We're trying to go put like flags.
Yeah, put buoys up.
This is my area.
So what if we took stay in the boat Ikes and we balanced them on the water like buoys? Yeah.
This is Ike's area.
Ike's area. Stay out of my area. Yeah, I don't know. All right. Well,
There's been drama since the beginning of time. I just don't think that the fans have always known about all the stuff that happens on the water or people getting into it.
Right.
Man, those old guys, they were snarly. Like people would cry if they heard the things that they said to people.
Yeah.
Like,
but it happened on the water.
It happened on the water.
In the moment. You know, again, like not to keep throwing Philly guys under the bus, but you know, it's like, dude, if you have a situation, you talk about it, you fight it out, or you talk it out, or you know, you're not going back and then, you know, typing up something.
Keyboard warrior.
You're not doing that.
Yeah.
We're not going to do that, guys. If you're watching this, we're not going to do that.
well, and the part of the problem now is as well that, like, if someone feels like they were threatened or something happened on the water, like back in the day, people would just handle it and snarl or whatever would happen. But now, like, it's like anything else in life. Like, the repercussions are crazy. Like, how do you know they're not going to go back to the tournament organization, file a complaint, and then you're just because you cuss somebody out, like, you know, then the organization isn't going to come after you. Like,
Right. It's a different world.
It's a different world.
It's a different world. It's a different world right now. It sure is.
We call those rats.
Yeah, rats. Okay. Yeah.
Snitches get stitches.
Yeah.
Let me remind everybody, if you're watching right now, we've got a very special guest. Our buddy Frank's joined us from Neck of the Woods Brewery, and we are talking about the brand new Stay in the Boat, Ike. It's amazing, man. Invite everybody to try it. Invite everybody to come try this beer next Sunday, 1 to 4. The brewery's open 12 to 6, right?
Sure is.
We'll be there 1 to 4. I'll probably be there all day because I want to see you guys come out, hang out. It's going to be a fun day. I did want to ask you another question I had in my notes. I want to ask you. So this is Ike Live, and the one thing we ask on this show, and if you're a fan of the show, you know this, is I want you to be honest on the show. We're going to ask you a question. You got to be honest. Okay, so you guys have developed and brewed all these amazing beers, but as a beer guy and as a beer lover, outside of your beers, what is your favorite beer? What is your favorite? Maybe maybe it's a broad question. What's one of your favorite beers you've ever tasted, or what's your current favorite beer outside of what you brew? I would love to know that, and I think they would love to know that as well.
Yeah, that's a tough question because you know I've been fortunate that to have this circle of friends of beer drinkers that always bring me beers from all over the country.
Yeah,
you know. So are we talking Treehouse?
Oh,
Trillium.
Treehouse has got some good ones.
You know, like those are like amazing beers.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest because you told me to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, if we walked over to my house across the lake right now,
yeah,
and we opened up our fridge,
yeah,
you would see Stay in a Car Frank.
Stay in a Car Frank.
Like that is my go.
It's pretty freaking beer. Solid. Yes.
Like it's. And this is no like ego inflated, you know,
Right,
minor.
so, yeah, you have to pick one that's not one of yours.
So if it's
So
not
like
one
if
of
you
mine,
never started a brewery.
Let me show this to everybody real quick. And this is the one we were just talking about. I want you to be able to see, get a visual of what that can looks like.
It's awesome. And you've seen me drinking this one on the show before, so you know.
Yeah, I mean, if I in our area right here, I think any beer that Bonesaw makes.
Bonesaw's got some good ones.
Yeah.
I've had the privilege of working with the owner of Bonesaw.
Yeah.
We've worked together. He's an orthopedic surgeon. I do anesthesia. We've worked together for 15 years. I mean, we talked about opening up brewery. I thought we were going to open up together.
Yeah.
You know, at one point, but
Yes. Swoosh, right?
Swoosh.
Swoosh.
Yeah.
Swoosh.
Swoosh.
That's a good one. I've had that one.
Yes,
I like that.
very good.
Yeah.
But Rich is such a great guy.
Yeah.
AJ, the brewer there, everything that guy makes
Yeah.
is just spot on.
It's awesome.
He is like, when you talk about like style and sticking to a certain style and not, kind of going outside of that defined style. Like AJ is perfect there. He's just, and everything is so clean. There's no off flavors. Like, he's done a tremendous job with his team. So if you've never heard of Bonesaw, check them out.
Good brewery, guys. Bonesaw.
And great people. Rich and Dave, who are the owners. They're just great guys.
I do love and if you're watching and you know that all this crap that's been going on over the last couple of years, I love that the New Jersey breweries I feel like they have a connection because they're all sort of fighting the man. And Beck, I know no politics here. We'll try to stay away from that. But it's been, would you agree, it's been really tough over the last 10 years to have a brewery in the state of New Jersey?
Yeah, because you can go across the bridge and it's like a 180 over there. It's just completely different. And when you become certified in the state of New Jersey to serve alcohol, if you spot somebody who you think are intoxicated, number one, you stop serving. Number two, you offer them food. Well, you didn't let us have food. You still don't let us have food. Now we can have food trucks and that kind of thing. But, you go across the bridge and you can have your own restaurant connected to your brewery. And when you go to different states and they have that set up, it just...
So why have they made it that tough? Is it like the restaurant industry? Is it the mothership of...
to not get into politics.
No problem.
I think the restaurant industry just has lobbyists that, their pockets are deeper than ours.
We all should have been lobbyists.
We should have been lobbyists.
I mean, but but that's the cool thing about when you travel. When you travel a lot. So when you go to different states and you see these different breweries and you get to talk to people and you get to maybe experience something a little bit different than state of New Jersey. So that's cool, but at the same time, I just don't know why we can't. But we're making headway. And we're making headway because we all stick together.
That's awesome.
And I really, honestly, I don't have a bad thing to say about any brewery in the state of New Jersey. I mean, when you understand how hard it is to run a business, and I think everybody in the world should have to run a business for a year. And you can see how difficult it is. You got to give respect to people who take that leap of faith, whether it's financial or it's time or it's family, commitment away from your family. Like, it's a lot. Like, this is a lot for me. I work a full-time job in the hospital. I work 40 hours a week doing this. I mean, it's a lot of time investment. But, when I can put smiles on people's faces or meet people like yourselves, that's where it's all like,
it's awesome.
God put me in this role for
a reason. That's awesome. That's awesome.
If you want to be an entrepreneur, you basically have to be a gambler. Like, you have to be such a...
You got to know when to hold them. Know when for
You just got to take the risk.
You do. All right, guys. I want to remind you, thank you for watching. Our numbers growing here. We got more people tuning in. If you're just tuning in, we're having a little Ike Live at the bar tonight talking about the new Stay in the Boat Ike, Neck of the Woods Brewing. It's amazing. Want to change topics here. And also, let me remind you, keep the comments coming because I'm seeing some great comments come in. I'm reading all these. So want to change topic. Right then, we just talked about staying away from politics. I'm going to tiptoe a little in the politics of bass fishing. And change topic a little bit. Had a recent podcast, I want to say it was a couple weeks ago, maybe a week or two ago, from Chris Zaldane. And if you guys follow the Elite Tour, Chris Zaldane and his significant other Trait, they got a really good podcast. And they get some great guests on. and if you follow Chris and his podcast, you know there was sort of some controversial things said. Controversial. Is that controversial things said in one of his last podcasts, where basically he was talking about some of the gray area or some of the things that some of the guys in the new elite rookie class were doing. And let me start by saying, I get two topics I want to start by saying. First one is, I think that what came out of Chris's mouth wasn't necessarily what he meant. And I do that all the time. I mean, that's human nature, right? Sometimes you say something, blah, and it
well, what people perceive,
right. So I want to say that. And I also want to preface this by saying, giving my opinion, which is the new elite rookie class, and specifically at Bass, dude, they're good.
They're good.
They're so good. They're so talented. They are bad to the bone. They're amazing fishermen. And as we go over some of these gray things, I do not want to lump them all together, because we've got this rookie class of like 8 or 10 kids. I call them kids. They're in their 20s, or younger. A couple of them are younger. One might be a kid. One's like 18 or 19. But
he's a baby.
I do not want to lump them all together, right? Because they're all individuals. You can't put them all together. So they are the real deal. They're good. I don't want to lump them all together. So let me start by saying that.
But I also want to say that they're smart.
They're smart.
They're so smart. So
They're smart.
We're going to touch on some gray area rules that I didn't even know existed, and it's wild that they even exist or aren't banned. But these kids are smart enough to know that this stuff is allowed. These guys have been fishing forever and never actually paid attention to the fact that you could do certain things, or you could ask a question about something, and they just they never did it. These kids are actually smart enough to be oh, wait, so there's no rule against this, so I could do this?
Yeah. So what we're
pushing the boundaries.
Yeah. So what we're going to talk about is pushing the envelope. We're going to talk about these areas of gray that exist in the sport of bass fishing, which is unique because in football, baseball, soccer, a lot of mainstream sports, right? You don't have as much gray. It might not all be black and white, but it's pretty cut and dry. But in fishing, there are these areas of gray that a lot of some of these rookie class, they're pushing that envelope, and it's not illegal. It's not, it's legal in the current state that the rules are written.
All right, so let's dive into one.
All right, let's dive into one. Which one you want to start with?
So this is the one that blew my mind, that opened my eyes to this whole thing. So apparently there were some rookies. I think they were rookies. Anyways, there were guys out on the water, and they were sinking trees, brush piles, whatever, in a lake. Yeah. Because it wasn't off limits yet, and that's not illegal to do. So they were creating their own brush pile. So instead of showing up before practice or showing up before off limits and finding brush piles that exist, they're just sinking their own.
Yeah. Sinking brush piles. So again, let me make sure that everybody knows this.
Right, they're creating their own habitat. They're changing the landscape of the lake.
They're changing the landscape of the lake. But let me make sure.
When were they doing that? Was it?
It was before the.
It was before the off limits. Okay, so let me make sure everybody knows this. Guys have been sinking brush for the entirety of the sport, so that's nothing new. But sinking it right before off limits, and then there's all these gray areas, right? So it's illegal to sink brush before off limits, but where did they get the brush? That's one of the questions, because you can't cut brush on private property. You can't cut brush on state property. That's illegal, right? So if they're illegally harvesting the brush
and then planting the brush.
See, there's so much.
It's just a lot of gray, a lot of, again, not illegal, but a lot of like, it leaves you with a bad taste in your mouth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You feel a little dirty after you know what I mean?
Here's my thing. I think that the moment that they announce the schedule and there's a no information rule, there should be a no altering rule. Because I get it. Listen,
no altering rule. No altering rule. Since the 70s. Very true.
For your entire life, because this lake is your home lake. But the moment you know where you're going for a tournament and everything is off limits for information, it should be off limits for altering a lake.
No, I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, we got some.
That's a crazy one, but it's legal. But it's crazy that that's never actually been thought about to maybe be like.
Yep. So we got some comments coming in.
Wild.
Fishing with old dad,
Really?
cut and drag, all it is. Fishing with old dad thinks it's fine. Since the 70s, from Dexter's Lure Lab, it's been done since the 70s. Kyle Downey with the comment: if you don't,
but do they think it's fine to sink a brush to help yourself for the tournament, or just sinking brush? Because I don't have a problem with sinking brush. It's to alter the lake for yourself.
Right. Well, it's
You give yourself an advantage.
Yeah. Kyle Downey says if you don't push the rules will never be fixed or put in place. Kyle Downey, good point. And if we look at one of the best fishermen in the history of the sport, and you have to all agree on this. If you're watching, look me in the eye, you have to agree with this. Roland Martin, you know that name, okay? Roland Martin. Roland Martin, in my opinion, is up there with Rick Clunn, Bill Dance, Kevin. He's one of the greats of the sport, always will be. And he was the best at pushing the envelope. And he won like 7 Angler of the Year titles, like 10 big, whatever. He's won it all. And he was the master of it, right? And he's Roland Martin, right? So Kyle might be right, you got to push the envelope a little bit. Limping Fisherman says, not ethical. The lake should not be tampered with, okay? And Sean's saying bass rules were made because of Roland Martin. That's true. Yeah.
And they're ever evolving. Let's be honest. Just like, certain people have shown up with a jet boat for a tournament, and then they change the rules that whatever boat you start the season in, you fish the entire season in. So it's true. Like as things happen, rules slowly.
Henry's comment, real quick. Henry's comment was basically, these guys must be single. They are. They're 18, 19, and 20, and they don't have girlfriends.
No, there's no action.
I'm pretty sure they're single. I'm pretty sure they have nothing else going on in their life, and I'm pretty sure they masturbate a lot. I do, at least. So, that has nothing to do with any of this. That's right. Could they not bring the brush from their own property? Ross, 100%. Ross, great comment. If the brush is their brush, or they bought the brush, or they worked the deal, it's totally legal, right? Digs Outdoors brought up Ott's jet boat rule. These are all things that are pushing the limit, right?
So you can still bring brush
if
put it onto private land or state land.
Well, so I think
it's spinning out.
I think what he was saying is if you brought the brush from your property.
Right.
And it was legal in that state. So if it's Alabama allows you to plant brush, and it's within the bass rules and before the off limits, everything jives, right? But it's still dirty. I don't know how else to say it.
Call that Slim Shady.
It's Slim Shady. I don't know.
I mean, part of me has to give him props.
Part of me got to give
like I have to personally internally say I give you mad props for figuring that out and doing it. But as like a competitor, I'd be like, it's not an even playing field. Like mad props that you figured that out.
Yes. And let me remind everybody. I want to keep saying this because I don't want the Chris Zaldain thing to happen here. Let me remind you that this is our opinion, and that what we're talking about, we're not talking about all the elite rookie class. Absolutely not. We're not talking about some of these guys
Some of the elite rookie class might be listening right now, and they're horrified, right? So we're not stereotyping.
Yeah, we're just
The
talking
elite
about
rookie
the
class.
gray area.
We're talking about
rules.
pushing the envelope. We're talking about the gray area, okay? So want to make sure you guys know that. I do want to jump into the next one because I know we're over the hour, but I do want to mention this one. The other big one is and this does need to be changed. And this, I think, was Chris's big topic. So right now, I don't think did they change the rule yet? I don't think they changed the rule yet.
No rules have been changed.
When the elite rookie class, those 8 guys or whatever that number is, when they qualified for the tour, which was back in like October of last year, they had time past when they announced the schedule. So normally when they announce the schedule, right, elites will announce the schedule and they'll say, our 2026 schedule is these 9 lakes. Once they announce it, if you're an elite fisherman, that's it. You can't get information. You can't call your buddy. You can't buy waypoint. You can't do any of that. But these rookies, these 8 rookie class, they had access to do that. They weren't under the same rules that all the other elite guys. It's a gray area that needs to be changed. And in the podcast, Chris basically said that, again, not all of them, but some of these elite rookies went out and bought the best information you could buy. They talked to the best locals. They solicit, and I don't think that's right. I think that's a gray area that does need to be fixed, right? Because if you're qualifying for the tour, you should be under the same exact constraints. The minute you qualify,
They have to change when they announce.
They have to change when they announce, or
announce who's made it and then announce the.
Are you saying that's like a gentleman's rule? Like it's not important. It's just like, hey, you're not supposed to do this. Like how can you prove?
So the problem is they announce the lakes for the next season before they've
Yeah,
extended.
so you had these elite guys, that elite rookie class that I think of the 8, like 5 or 6 or 7 of them knew they were going to get in. So even before the last event was over, they were out there practicing and gathering information and whatever, soliciting info, whatever, whether that means apparently, whether that meant cash purchase of information or not,
because it wasn't official,
because they hadn't officially made it yet. So they were in this gray bubble of, and again, here's the thing, guys, it wasn't illegal. It's not illegal. And if they did it, they were pushing the envelope. It's a gray area, but it's not legal, right? Wasn't wrong. It's dirty, but it's
right
not
on
wrong.
that edge of ethical.
It's not ethical.
It's
not ethical.
And you dirty the sport a little bit,
right?
And
right.
For everybody else who's following those rules or playing fair,
right? Yeah. It doesn't feel good if you're the guy not doing any of that, and that stuff's going on. It doesn't feel
shit's
good.
karma. Karma will come back.
Yeah.
And
I was just going to say that.
Okay.
Karma's going to get
Yeah.
you.
All right. Ryan Kirkpatrick agrees with you, Beck. That's not the rookie. Oh, this is from Sean. It's not the rookie's fault. Everyone's putting time on the water. Sean, I would agree with that. I pre-practice. Guys that are Rick Clunn is pre-practicing. So guys do pre-practice. All right. So I would agree with that. Sean, good comment. First time I've been able to catch the live stream, fishing with Fish Gal. Thank you. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Edwin's got an emoji. I don't know what that emoji is. I can't see it. It's a guy with an ice cream, or it's a detective. No, it's a detective. Edwin, it's a detective emoji. I like that. Yeah, let's see. I was against all the rookie talk this season, but now sinking brush piles during that window, that's garbage. That's coming from Jig Squad.
That's garbage.
Mike M says, it doesn't feel good when you're getting your butt kicked. It was legal. There was nothing illegal about it, and that's the way it's been for years. Mike M, great point. It is not illegal. Guys are getting their butt kicked. I'm getting my butt kicked this year, and I agree with that statement. It's not illegal. It's gray. It's not illegal. Didn't Bass fix it for next year from Patrick? They're fixing it. I don't know if it's fixed, but I think they're trying to. What's up, dudes, from Cisco? Sean says it was on the May 17th email. They fixed the rule. Okay, there you have it. That rule is fixed, but it didn't apply to this year. So the KBD show was awesome. Glad you're back in the community. From Doug R. Thank you, Doug.
Wait, what was fixed on the May 17th email?
I guess they fixed the rule that we just talked about with getting information before you're qualified, before you're officially qualified.
Okay, so it's fixed.
Okay.
That's good news. Let's see here. We got a couple more.
The emails, because obviously the Ike and Ellie's don't.
Yes. Yeah, I don't read the emails. I don't know what's going on. Yeah. Yes. So we got some good, we got some good ones. Up to the organizations to get rid of the gray from Matthew. Matthew, I agree. And listen,
In any professional sport, the less gray you have, the better off it is, right? The easier it is for the fans to follow, the easier it is for the competitors to engage in the sport. So I agree with that.
Well, I
Yes.
feel like there's less gray in so many other sports. I mean, football, baseball,
Less gray.
basketball. I mean, like it is.
I don't know, Tom Brady with the deflating the football.
Deflating the football.
It's true. It's true. I didn't say there wasn't any, but I mean, I feel like there's less. Like it's so much.
What was that
harder.
called? Deflate gate?
Deflategate.
Deflategate.
Yeah.
But I mean, like the steroid usage in the off season to make sure that it's out of your system before you're like tested. I mean, there's definitely like gray areas in every sport. I think it's even harder in fishing though, because you're talking about a living creature, an ever evolving waterway, like a new place. Like a basketball court's a basketball court.
It's not a controlled environment.
Field. Like they're like those
Absolutely.
are the playing field can be controlled. It's you know what I mean. There's just less.
Yeah.
We have so many more.
we do. Well, listen, guys, I love doing
And
these.
everybody keep doing it, or we wouldn't have anything to talk about on social media. We wouldn't be able to form teams against each other. So keep up the good work of evil.
Yeah, guys, listen, I love everybody chiming in, and let me say, everyone has a right to their own opinion. I value everyone's opinion, and I love people commenting in, whether you agree or disagree, comment, and we love that. So let me remind you, listen, our special guest Frank came in tonight to talk about this amazing beer, Stay in the Boat Ike, Neck of the Woods Brewing. Let me remind you that, man, support this beer. Not only is it good, but this beer, part of the proceeds go to getting new kids fishing. And that's a big deal. That's a big deal.
That's incredible.
That's a big deal.
Being a guy who came from the city, like it was important for me to get out on the water at a young age.
Yeah.
And by doing that, it really kept me out of trouble.
Keeps you out of trouble.
Maybe like 54% of the time.
Yeah.
I still got in trouble.
Yeah. Listen, kids in the outdoors is a good thing. And if you're watching this and you don't understand that, you shouldn't be watching this. You understand getting kids in the outdoors is very important. So try the beer. It's really good. I know you're going to love it. Let me remind you of some dates real quick. Stay in the Boat beer release party. Neck of the Woods Brewery, Sunday, June 2nd. The brewery's open 12 to 6. I'm going to be there all day, but 1 to 4, we're going to be talking shop about this beer. Also, let me remind you, Saturday, June 1st, that's next Saturday. The Pro-Am, the Ike Foundation Celebrity Pro-Am on the Upper Chesapeake Bay. Here's the good news. If you're watching this and you're like, shit, I forgot to sign up. Looking at the weather, by the way, guys, all you fair weather fishermen, beautiful day. 5 to 10 mile an hour wind, 80 degrees. They're going to be biting on the flats. You still can sign up. Head on over to the ikefoundation.org and you'll be able to sign up. Hurry up, though, because we are limiting the number of boats.
Yeah, so listen, you
Hurry
guys,
up.
I know that our tournament costs more to enter than most tournaments. You can have 2 people on a boat, but here's the thing to remember. Your entry fee is a donation to the Ike Foundation. It is a tax-deductible donation, and one person is going to be leaving with a $50,000 boat. Your brand new bass cat with the Yamaha.
Brand new bass cat, Yamaha outboard, Saturday.
I'm sorry, but where in our part of the country, the entire northeast corridor?
Nowhere.
Scott Van Leer is from Virginia. He's coming because someone's leaving with a $50,000 boat.
Yes.
Come on already.
Yes.
That is awesome.
Come on
Yes,
already.
yes.
Let's go.
Let's go. Head on over to ikefoundation.org. Sign up for the Pro-Am. I'm going to be out there all day.
We're gonna have kids stuff going on. It's gonna be a great day.
Yeah,
so I hope
we
to
teach
see you.
100 kids how to fish that
Yep,
day.
teaching new kids how to fish. It's gonna be a great day. Frank, thank you for coming. Dude, this was fun.
Awesome.
If nothing else, we got to hang out, and I learned how to pour a beer tonight. So yes. So I want to thank you guys for watching, and we will see you at the next one. Bye, guys. Bye.